So I'm working at the Hinesville District Courthouse, and I come back from lunch from a fast food joint with one of my coworkers. And I'm sitting there, as I do, I drink 1 gallon of water every single day. But this day was slightly different. After lunch, we had got back probably about 5 minutes afterwards because it was right down the street. And as we're sitting there, I started to feel this outer body experience where I couldn't breathe. So I gasped for air and I said, yo, I can't breathe. And she didn't, I'm a very playful guy. We have a good time at work. So she thought I was joking. So I grabbed my big jug of water and I started to chug it. And I felt better. And she said, do you want me to call the ambulance? I said, yes, please. Can you do that? So they came. And in the midst of them coming, I felt it again. So I had to continue to drink this water. I had no clue what was really going on with me. So when they got there, they checked my blood pressure. It was 180 over 100, which was abnormal. So they told me just go home, relax. I went home, relaxed, didn't feel it anymore. I went to another fast food spot the following week, and I felt the same thing when I started to eat this food. So I knew something was wrong. Then there was a night where I was leaving from a nightclub, and I got pulled over by a police officer, and I had dead tags. They had just expired. So instead of him telling me to go home, he said, I'm towing your vehicle. Now I have no car. I'm all the way in Riverdale, Maryland. I have to walk all the way. He locked me up, and he let me right out, and I take a long walk home from Riverdale, Maryland to Mount Rainier. That long walk home was one of the last walk homes I could remember before I ended up in the hospital. The next morning, the very next morning, I didn't wake up. My sister found me in my room suffering from a seizure. So she called the ambulance. And the last thing I remember that morning was being carted down the steps at my parents' house in a gurney. And they took me to Prince George's Hospital Center. Prince George's Hospital Center ran a lot of tests on me, and they could not figure out what was wrong, so they sent me over to GW Hospital. And when I got to GW Hospital, they told me, they ran CAT scans, they ran a bunch of tests, and they said, you have an anterior venous malformation. I have no clue what that means, but they're basically saying that blood is not flowing through my brain properly. Do I suffer from headaches? And I'm like, I do have headaches pretty often, maybe like once a week. And it's all making sense now. So I made the executive decision to get it treated. They said, you could leave here right now and it could hemorrhage, or we can fix it for you and it's going to be an 8-hour surgery. That 8-hour surgery turned to 13 hours. And the only thing I remember was waking up in the hallway, strapped to a bed, arms, legs, and seeing people walking back and forth. And I had a trachea in my throat, and I couldn't scream for help. And I felt like forever just being there. And when they finally took me to the room, they took the trachea out of my throat, they unstrapped my arms, and they pulled a catheter from out of my penis. The weirdest feeling ever, because now I'm wondering, how did it even get in there?